debrief of the press conference, the real first pre-game press conference of Igor Tudor, and pay attention because I smelled something, I underlined something, I discovered something. Let's see if I'm the only one or if you agree with me. Let me know in the comment section when we will debrief the squad list with the top next-gen player that has been called up by Igor Tudor, the first next-gen player chosen by Igor. And then we go towards the possible predicted lineup, even if there are a few hours before the game. Ragazzi, Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Second video of the day, hopefully you put a maximum of like, you don't forget to subscribe. Look, general feeling, what I felt after listening twice to the press conference, one time just enjoying, just watching the non-verbal, and then transcripting, writing what he was saying and translating it in the meanwhile, is that I believe, especially when there was that question, were they labels that I have put into you, on you, that you didn't really appreciate? He said, yes, they are, but I don't want at the moment to answer them. Look, my feeling is that he's referring to the label of a caretaker, the label of only a Juventino, the label of you're just a motivator, die, let's go, impact for a few games, and then the Tudor effect is gone. I believe that that's what he doesn't like. I really believe that he wants not only to have results, because he knows that that's the most important thing, the result. If he doesn't qualify to Champions League, forget about all the rest, forget about continuing with Juve, but he also wants to convince. He asked during that dinner on Wednesday to the players to give him a hand. He wants to help the players to perform the best, but he asked in return the players to give him a hand, to stay there together, to be there and reconfirm next season and to build a beautiful future together. But today he also tries to sell himself in front of microphones to the journalists, which is important. Why am I saying that? Why am I thinking that? Because one of the things that he says in the press conference is you don't approach a game like the one of Roma, but whatever game, with just, let's go and win that game. Let's go and win that game. We go, we will win that game. Let's believe in winning that game. No. But you prepare yourself to win that game. Which, said like that, it looked like a really stupid difference, something really subtle. No, it's important. This is one of the philosophy of Igor Tudor that we are discovering as a first head coach. Don't believe, don't only motivate with let's go, but prepare yourself to the max, because a game you can win it, you can lose it with multiple ways, a set piece, an own goal, the referees, that's what he says, The referees, I'm happy that he mentioned also the referee, because we know it, Sometimes you can win, sometimes you can lose a game just because of the referee, but what he says is, what I don't accept, what I really don't like, is that we are, or that we are not, what we prepared. He doesn't like that what we trained, what we worked on during the week, that he doesn't see it on the field, which is important. What we did in an entire week preparing the game, he wants to see. Then you can miss a pass, you can lose a game, you can win a game, but he wants to see that behavior. He wants that what we trained on, what we worked on, he wants to see translated on the field. And then he says, okay, I am satisfied, of course. We need to work on becoming better and better and better, but these things that we work on, he wants to see them on the field. When I'm telling you that he wants to sell him, it's not just a motivator, not just let's go and win it, die, like we are doing when we start the watch along from our screen. It's easier to say let's go, let's win, let's hope that we win today, we predict a win. No, it's much more than that. Then he continues saying that the team must work on everything. We must have everything. It's not only the offensive phase, it's not only the defensive phase, it's not just physically, for example, training physically, the fitness that we run, we are able to have that intensity, but then you have absolutely no idea where the ball needs to go to. Important, I told you, he's trying to sell himself, to show the world, but also a clear message to the management that he's there not only for that intensity football, for that short impact. He says as well, in football, there are a lot of labels. That's what he says. A coach is like this, a coach is like that. Think about Guardiola, think about De Zerbi, think about Max Allegri, different coaches, different labels. But he says a lot of time, it's not like that. I tell you, a lot of time he tries to sell himself as a complete coach. What else did he say? Was it a physical or mental problem at Juve after now nearly 2 weeks that he's there? There, for the first time, he takes a break before answering, because usually he's not taking a break, he's answering immediately, goes No problem in answering the question. If he doesn't understand politely, he asks to repeat, but he always answered. This time he took a break because I think that he has a lot of respect to the work that has been done before for Thiago Motta. He doesn't want to put the ex-coach in difficulty, which is really appreciated. And he says, look, I only say that I found a team in an ugly moment, because that's true. The moment was ugly, is ugly. And then he says, we started to pedal, and more we will pedal, more we will see beautiful things, more we will do well. I started to see everything. I started to see interesting things in training session, but now the field will tell us if yes or no it's starting to work, if yes or no we are seeing it. To tell you that, yes, of course, he wants to stay, but he's also extremely realist. He's not selling dreams to himself, to other people. He continues also saying that tomorrow is really an important game, but it's not a decisive one, because there are still points available. More we play, less points are available, so he's really conscious of the moment, but he's realist when he's saying that no, it is not a decisive game, because tomorrow is not a decisive game with 7 games to play, but underlining how important the game of tomorrow is. And that's what he said more or less about the game of tomorrow. I told you, selling himself, convincing people that it's much more than a motivator, speaking about the importance of the game of tomorrow, showing also that he knows perfectly what he's doing at the moment, where in what situation he is. And then a lot of questions about players. Cambiaso and Douglas Luiz are back. He said immediately they will not start the game, so when we will make the predicted lineup, Cambiaso and Douglas Luiz, forget about them in the starting lineup. He spoke about cope manners, because the question arrived where he said, I don't like to speak too much about individualities. We already spoke about him. Playing or resting was the question about cope, but he said, look, he had a really great week. Strong players will rise. Strong player always arise. So let's see. I think that when listening to the words, when hearing it, when watching the non-verbal, cope manners will be on the bench. He spoke about Yildiz. What about being a champion? Is he already a champion? And that's what he says. To become a champion, you need consistency. To becoming a champion, you need continuity, but also the mentality. Look, he's a really serious player, which is already a beautiful start. He's dedicated to football. Of course, the skills, the talent are absolutely not under discussion because they are visible to everyone. But great champions are the ones that are delivering every single second in small teams, in big teams. Small team or Real Madrid makes totally no difference. Every single day in games, in training session. But he says Yildiz is a fantastic player, is a great player. To become a pet champion, you need that consistency. You need to deliver every single day. What about Adzic? And we'll come back on Adzic in a second. He says, look, I had 2-3 training sessions together with him. I really like him. I didn't know him before that, but it's a really serious kid that has a lot of ambitions. He wants to, he's strong, and he wants to do. I didn't know him before. Interesting player. We'll come back on Adzic in a second. Then he spoke about Weston McKennie. Extremely available player. Extremely flexible player. It's a joker. It's a jolly, which is great. Of course, sometimes it cannot be that great because when you play too many positions, it can be confusing. But he's one that is able to do everything in a really good way, but he sees him more as a midfielder. I believe personally that we will see Weston McKennie tomorrow again there on that position of Cambiaso, because Cambiaso will not be able to start the game. In the future, can he enter? Can he take the spot of Thuram, of Locatelli that will start tomorrow? Let's see, but that's how he sees him. And then he spoke also about Conceição, that is a player that can play centrally. Of course, playing centrally is a bit more difficult than playing on the right side or on the left side on the wing, because on the wing you maybe sometimes need just a dribble. There you need much more, you need that vision, etc, etc. But it's a player with qualities because it's an intelligent player, a player that is tough, a really tough character, a player that has the right mentality, that he can do it. And that was about the players, what he said. So the questions were about these players. What else was important in that press conference? Look, what I told you is that at the moment we don't know who will start, who will not start. Super important, because it's not a coach that will give you 2-3 players. You remember, Max Allegri was giving you 2-3 players per press conference. Here we don't know, but we can smell it. Predicted lineup. Di Gregorio into the goal. Then we have the 3 same defense. We have Kelly, we have Renato Vega, we have Kalulu. So Kalulu Vega and Kelly, the same. Also in the midfield, I believe we will see the same. Nico Gonzalez on the right, Weston McKennie on the left, Locatelli and Thuram in the middle of the field. The only change there could be Wea instead of Nico Gonzalez. And then up front, we have Yildiz. I believe, after listening to the press conference, that Conceição will start instead of Tönko Meners, and on front, Dusan Vlahovic, who has been called up. I told you, Douglas Luiz and Cambiaso are back on the field, or at least on the field, on the bench, which is really great news because it's important to have them. The only news is regarding a next-gen player, Dafara. Dafara that played today, they won 4-1. Third goalkeeper tomorrow. It's a really great one. I saw him a few times playing games when he was at Primavera. I saw him with the next gen. It's a player that I tell you, a goalkeeper that I really believe in, that has a really bright future. Why has he been called up? Because Perin felt something. Muscular fatigue, muscular problem, small one. So he will not be there, and Dafara will be there on the bench. Again, I'm happy because it's not the first time that he is called up. Of course, he will not start a game. He will not play because that means that Di Gregorio and Pinsoglio will be injured, but it's a player that I really like. Speaking about the next gen, look, today they won 4-1 against the fourth one in the ranking of Serie C. That was Crotone, super important. Crotone, they lost 4-1 against NextGen, that is now 9th in that ranking of Serie A. That means playoffs at the moment. Super performance of the team, but also of Vasilije Adzic, that has not been called up. Gil Pucce has not been called up, but they were performing there. Fantastic, beautiful game of our Montenegro player that scored a brace. He started with a penalty, and it was the beginning of the game. At 24th minute, 0-0, going in on the penalty spot. Cucchiaio, which means the Panenka, guys, 18 years old. 18 years old. It's a 0-0 against Crotone. It is much higher there. A decisive penalty already, because he can unlock the score. You know it at the 24th minute. If you are going with a Panenka and you miss a Panenka, you are totally out of the game. So we can say that it's a player with a lot of personality, with a lot of courage, a player that doesn't care. He goes his way. And by the way, one of the players of Crotone was pissed off. He went to him like, what are you doing? You are not showing respect. He didn't care. He didn't care at all. That's the goal that he's doing. He's continuing to play free of mind. Fantastic, beautiful performance of Pietrelli, that received that penalty on the first one. And then a really fantastic, beautiful goal that was the 2-0. He scores Adzic, the third goal. So fantastic, beautiful brace for him. And then welcome back to Simone Guerra, that was injured, came back, and that's the beautiful gesture also from Vasilije, that at a certain moment could have gone with his first hat-trick. He said, you know what, no, Simone, penalty is yours, take the penalty. 4-1 the end result. Beautiful result for the next gen that are performing really well. Guys, I don't know how long Vasilije will stay with the next gen. I can tell you that it's extremely important for the team, and he's continuing to bang goals one after the other. The only thing that was missing to Vasilije was the condition, was the physical condition with that continuity that he's now receiving with the team. I would not be surprised if one of the next week we see him again, at least for a few minutes with the first team. It's a pity that we are out of Coppa Italia. It's a pity that we are out of Champions League. I know it. And it's a pity also that we are obliged to fight until the end for the fourth spot. Otherwise, maybe some players we would have been able to see them a bit more on the field. It is what it is. Let's go. I hope you enjoyed that video with the debrief of Igor Tudor, people that has been called up, and also with the next in game. Fantastic. Bravo. Ragazzi, grazie. Forza. Juve.